King Jesus, King Jesus. Hey, I just got hold of an alarming report from the Huffington Post that says a Ferguson police officer, Justin Cosma, hog tied and injured a young child, the lawsuit alleges. It says, being reported out of Washington, a Ferguson police officer who helped detain a journalist in the McDonald's earlier this month is in the midst of a civil rights lawsuit because he allegedly hog-tied a 12-year-old boy who was checking the mail at the end of his driveway. You know, I have problems with the way this is reported because it never was reported in the mainstream media before it involved a reporter. So you see that the mainstream media is mostly self-serving and does a disservice to the public by not reporting the actual circumstances of criminality that the police across the United States is involved in. It says according to, and not to mention the fact that they're not even reporting that this kid, this 12-year-old, was a black youth who was terrorized, him and his mother, in their home. It says according to the lawsuit filed in 2012 in Missouri federal court, Justin Cosma and another officer, Richard Carter, approached a 12-year-old boy who was checking the mailbox at the end of his driveway in June of 2010. Cosma was an officer with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office at the time, the lawsuit states. The pair asked the boy if he'd been playing in a nearby highway, and he replied no, according to the lawsuit. Then the officers became confrontational and intimidated the child, the lawsuit claims. And that shows you what kind of cowards they hired for the police. This coward is intimidating a 12-year-old boy. He would never approach a grown man, especially not a grown black man, without his gun, without his badge, call himself intimidating them. He's a coward. Most of them are cowards. They're not men. They're fat, weak, they're on steroids. They call themselves building up with steroids, lifting weights. They're some sorry human beings. Said unprovoked and without cause, the deputies grabbed the boy and choked him around the neck and threw him to the ground, it says. The boy was shirtless at the time and allegedly suffered bruising, choke marks, scrapes, and cuts across his body. The 12-year-old boy was transferred to a medical facility for treatment, but the lawsuit says Cosma and the other officer reported the incident as an assault of a law enforcement officer third degree and resisting and interfering with arrest, detention, or stop. Jefferson County prosecutors refused to issue a juvenile case against the young child, the suit says. The allegations against Cosma were made in September of 2012, shortly after he was introduced as a new officer at a Ferguson City Council meeting. Jefferson County is just south of Ferguson. So he found a real home for his racism in Ferguson. It says here that Captain Ron Arnhart of the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, who is a candidate for sheriff, did not respond to the Huffington Post request for comment on the circumstances of Cosma's departure. Neither Ferguson Police spokesman Tom Zoll nor Ferguson Police Chief Thomas Jackson responded to requests for comment. It says here that Richard Lozano, the lawyer representing the young man in the lawsuit, declined to be interviewed due to the pending claims against Cosma and the other officer. He said he anticipates a trial date early next year. However, Lozano did provide a statement. The lawsuit alleges that Justin Cosma and Richard Carter, two deputies with the Jefferson County, Missouri Sheriff's Department in 2010, assaulted my client through an encounter on my client's driveway while his mother was inside their house. My client was 12 years old at the time, shirtless, and was not suspected of any criminal behavior. He was checking the mail. The deputies approached my client, and the encounter quickly escalated. My client was restrained, choked, thrown to the ground, and hog-tied by the two deputies. He suffered scrapes and choke marks to his neck. No charges were brought against my client. It is my understanding that Jefferson Cosma is currently an officer with the city of Ferguson, Lozano Road. So they don't report that the child is black, but as all of you know, he sure is. And his mother is black. And this shows you the institutional racism in Missouri. And Missouri and St. Louis seems to be a hotbed with Governor Nixon of racism, and he's done nothing to change the circumstances. So this is all crazy.